bicentennial, the American bicentennial, bicentennial moments. This is Alabama moments, and they're already beginning to work with Encyclopedia of Alabama to map out places and people and events that they want to showcase in short video segments that will air both on commercial television and radio, as well as educational television and public radio. So there are those. We want to get billboards. We have some nice, I think, some opportunities that we'll be able to take advantage of to showcase events that are going on, and to bring people to Prattville, bring them to Otago County, bring them to Elmore County, and get people to discover what a wonderful and rich place this is. And that's what we'd like to replicate that all around the state. So as I said, y'all are our guinea pig, and we'll see what we can do and depend upon your feedback too. But that's look for more information about the funding. Our last item is Howard Graves, who is the assistant to the bicentennial, and that covers a multitude of tasks. Let me tell you, we all do windows, we all do the dishes, and Howard does more of them than anybody. So he's got a couple of things he wants to leave you with, and then we're going to open up the discussion and questions. Howard?
Thank you. I'm going to flip this here. If none of you are familiar with this man, this is Senator Arthur Orr of Decatur. Second only to probably Jay. This is the guy who's had really kind of the most biggest hand in really having the foresight to prepare for this bicentennial when he started moving to promote the legislation in 2013 that would actually create the Bicentennial Commission. He's the current chair. What he's standing next to in this picture is a 4 times life-size mock-up of our Alabama Bicentennial license plate. So this is something we were really excited to launch this last January. It's available at DMVs statewide for $6.50. You can take your old license plate in and change it out for our license plate. I don't know if you're like me. Connor's going to wince in acknowledging this, but when we ride together in the car in the morning, I'm terrible about tailgating because I really like to kind of get up behind people and see what they're advertising on their car. And we're driving behind this fellow this morning, and there's a North Face sticker and a Gore-Tex sticker in the AT, and it's, well, do you think he likes to hike? One of the things that I've been seeing around, it's a yellow and blue tag with a 200 in it with a star circling around it. That's actually Indiana's bicentennial license plate. So they're celebrating it in 2016. Mississippi will celebrate theirs in 2017. I haven't seen a license plate for them yet. But if I'm seeing Indiana bicentennial license plates in Montgomery, I assume it has something to do with Maxwell Air Force Base. But if we're seeing those in Montgomery, then you can bet those Hoosiers need to see something from Alabama when they're driving around all across the country. So again, for $6.50, you can really identify your love and support for the Bicentennial Commission. We'd be absolutely grateful for that. It's a really rare opportunity, ripping off of what we've discussed here today, but it'll only be available for the 3 years through the bicentennial. It's a wonderful way that you can show some support and love for the state of Alabama. So the second thing I wanted to talk about was this book. It's 100 Things You Should Know About Alabama. I know when I look at kind of the headlines coming out right now, you look at the government, you think, well, nobody's cooperating, nobody's getting anything done. I'm here to assuage your fears because this book is proof that the government can work together and get things done. It's the pinnacle of governmental synergy and interdepartmental cooperation. Our office worked with the Department of Archives and History, the folks EOA, Laura, I can't tell you how many emails she fielded for me telling me where exactly they had located pictures, but it's a partnership between those groups and the Alabama Tourism Department. So the basic idea was to have 100 250-word essays dealing with a range of topics, covering the history of the state of Alabama. So beginning with earliest geological formations, the Wetumpka Impact Crater. I can tell you entry 27 deals with Alabama's first industrialist, Daniel Pratt. Beautiful spread, and the folks here at the Chamber of Commerce were nice enough to help me find some photography of Pratt Mill here. Then going all the way through the Civil War, civil rights, up to some really interesting kind of current events and lists of iconic monuments throughout the state, and really interesting festivals. And it sort of serves as a survey history of the state of Alabama to help people become familiar with it. Both people in the state who might not know about some of the more interesting far-flung aspects of it, and people all across the state. It was produced by Whitman Publishing. It's a branch of Anderson Media, which owns Books A Million, so that'll be the primary retailer for it. It'll be available in museum, gift shops, and welcome centers across the state. Lisa Until, the tourism director of the state of Alabama, is really interested in having Randall Williams, the author, go around and do book signings. So I assume that there's a Books A Million somewhere around here. Would absolutely love to be able to have an opening and a signing here. I'm going to pass it around. Unfortunately, we can't sell you any copies yet. They'll be getting shipped down from the warehouse in the next few weeks or so. Saying that, everything has a price, and if anybody wants to start the bidding, we'll start at $30. I'm going to pass this around and return the mic to Jay.
Would you tell them, though, what held up the press?
One of the things, again, it's 100 entries, and so it deals with topics like the music of the state, movies, and obviously the thing that we're probably best known for nationally and globally, football. So we realized we were running up on a production deadline in November, and we thought, well, wait a minute, we're doing it again. Our state is one of the most dominant in football, so we actually decided to put the brakes on and cover Alabama's national championship run. There was some question of whether we should wait to cover the Super Bowl to see if Cam Newton was going to take the Panthers all the way. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but we decided not to wait on that. We did get his MVP in it, and it actually, we had a last-minute call to the press to mark Harper Lee's unfortunate passing. So it's really one of the most current histories of the state that you can have. I mean, obviously, as soon as something's printed, new things happen, but we're very proud of it.
Thank you. They said Books A Million, as you probably know, is an Alabama company. We want to open up the floor for discussion. I wanted to recognize, which I should have done right away, Dean, is Dean Argo, who's a native son, who's on the local activities committee with Teresa Lee, and see if you have anything you want to say or add. Or
I will never pass up an opportunity. But I would say this. First of all, thank everybody for coming out. You know, anytime you have something that is 3 years in the making, you run the risk of people sitting back and saying, well, we've got plenty of time. We don't need to worry about that today. There's no real push to get it done. The local events committee, Teresa and I are fortunate enough to serve on. Our first meeting was last spring, early part of the summer. And you have 60, 75 people in a room from all over the state of Alabama, and you start talking about things that are unique to your community, things that are happening in your area. And you suddenly realize you could spend all day, you could spend all week doing that, because we all have great stories we want to tell about our communities. And most of you will not remember this, but in 1988, Alabama had the Alabama Reunion. And I worked for the Alabama Reunion. And I remember specifically, and I've shared this with Jay in the committee, I remember that everybody looked to the state to do that. Everybody thought the state should be directing that. And luckily we have people that are smart enough and have figured out that it's not